Well, the Hoosiers absolutely throttle Kennesaw State in that third quarter that was absolutely electric. But are they getting any respect in the national media? I don't think so. They still aren't. And we're going to talk about the fans. What people are complaining and fans turning on each other during the game. Thank you for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. Let's get into it.
Pretty simple. I win. Basketball is a way of life in Indiana that many people will never understand.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. So, the Hoosiers, they get the big victory against Kennesaw State, and we saw the team look a little bit more like what I think everybody wanted to see. That first game was just like a throttling of a team. I mean, I saw a lot of fans putting things on X, putting things on Twitter, X, whatever, Instagram, of the stands being like half full, even like the visiting side of the stands. I was there. I mean, I started out the game, I was in section 6, like row 55, and then I moved down to like around row 6 in that level, but I moved around some places. Look, I'm gonna say I thought the crowd was great. I thought that, but we're gonna get into more of that in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the fans. We're going to talk about the team and what went down with all of that. But first, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. And I have one of these sweatshirts I'm going to give away. So I have the other. You can tell me which one you want. If you want a sweatshirt like this, but at 3,200 subscribers, I will pick one of the subscribers to win a sweatshirt. And I'm like gathering more shirts now. So I'll have like several things, but I'm going to give away a lot of shirts on this show this year. So leave your comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hype the video. This is like a new thing with YouTube. So hype the creator. It helps people like me. Like, I'm not in media. I'm not in anything. But I love Indiana football, Indiana basketball, and I want to share it all with you guys on this channel. So join the community. We have a great comment section on this channel. It's one of the best things about it. Also, 10% of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org. And the video is brought to you by Grassmasters in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you need tailored lawn services, you need mowing, fertilization, weed control, call Aaron today or text him at 863-397-3518. Grassmasters, elite turf grass experts. Get your lawn taken care of. Right now is the best time. I have some really great fertilizer deals going on for fertilization, and last week did a lot of aerating and stuff like that. So get your lawn, get it right in the fall. That's what's going to make it look better in the spring. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, Hillbilly Monkey, what did we see out there? I mean, IU,
Well, I mean, you leave me in the goddamn car again. I mean, it's hot out there.
I mean, I told you they're not going to let a monkey into the stadium, especially with the light bulb and the long cord you got hanging off your side over here. I thought the game was absolutely fantastic. Now, more and more people just need to share that they went to the game and they had a good time and kind of some of the things. There are some kid-friendly things like around the stadium. There's a band playing out there. I normally haven't like gone over to by the tailgating fields. I did this time and just like browse through there. So the experience is getting better and better. I mean, and this game had I thought a pretty great crowd. And I see a lot of people, are saying, the visitor side was not totally full before the game. And I guess some people left at halftime. And all I can say is it's gonna take time. Like I've started a lot of things in my life, like starting to do stand-up comedy. Or starting a business. You're just not gonna be instant success. Here's my just opinion on that. Like we have served people shit sandwiches that showed up to football games paying money for like 125 years. I mean, how many years did Indiana ever have a good team? Like the people that have been around a long time, I always like listen to my dad's like thoughts on it because he thinks, winning 8 games this year would be like a great season for Indiana. And we should not like let that be out of perspective. Like 8 wins for Indiana is a great year. Now we have a new coach. We have all these high expectations of getting to the playoff again, being 10-2, doing all those types of things. I'm just going to say it will take time. Like, we had a lot of success last year. We also, the schedule really set up well for us where we were able to get there. And I'm not saying it was like because we had this weak schedule, but it really did set up with it. We had a long runway and we got to like 8-0. Now that brings into this Illinois game is, I feel like there are so many fans that I talk to where it's like they have kind of moved the goalpost where, Indiana teams of 5 years ago, we would not be guaranteed to just beat Kennesaw State and beat them like very badly, or the game the week before, like maybe looked like they stayed in the game for a little bit longer. I do think what's lost in the translation of some of this stuff, like if you watch some of these games where like, teams play like a really bad team early in the season, sometimes the first quarter, because I've watched tons of games where Alabama or Michigan and all those teams I root against all the time, Ohio State, if they play some cupcake school early in the season, the cupcake school sometimes they hang in the game for the first and second quarter. It's not till you really, and Signetti says this all the time, you can see Indiana in this game in the third quarter, they just kind of broke their will and they weren't going to be able to come back in the game. So yeah, all that being said, we got to take all this stuff into consideration and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Last year, we're getting a ton of, disrespect from the media, and we're still going to get that for years to come until we got to look at it more like, 5 years from now, where could we be as a football program if we put like 5 seasons together of winning like 8, 9, 10 games for 5 years in a row? Then you can start to say, Indiana, like the fans need to be there, the support needs to be there. But right now, we've just kind of, there are so many fans that are just kind of like dipping their toe into the pool, and they're like, I'm still going to temper my expectations of Indiana football because it's been bad for so long. Let's just face it. It's been bad for so long. And yeah, I can see, people don't want to be burned. They don't want to buy into something. They don't want to, and it's money too. It's not like it's free to go to these games. The tailgating is expensive. To get a tailgating spot, that is one thing I would say, like if you're going to have some of these cupcake games leading up, maybe make I saw some of the tailgating spots, and I always park at the church, like on the corner there, but it's like some of the tailgating spots were open. Like, how about lower some of the prices of some of those? And, some people that have RVs or things would come and fill those spots up and maybe like fill it up that way. I don't know. Cause I did notice, last year, the prices of the tickets and the tailgating and everything, Indiana just jacked it all up, and so that does scare some people away, where it's like, okay, how much do I have to have a parking pass and to actually get in there and tailgate and all that type of thing. So, but let's get into talking about the game, because this play by Sharp in the third quarter was absolutely electric. And then the end around to Omar Cooper was absolutely electric. That end around was the type of play where a creative type play where I don't think we saw any of that in the first game. And we just saw very, very vanilla type things. So you got to keep that in mind. Like, Indiana's not going to show all their cards against these bad teams. Sometimes I think Signetti's going to have them just line up and be like, just win, just beat the guy in front of you. And when you play lesser teams or lesser competition, that's what you want to see as a coach. You want to see them line up in front of somebody and throttle them off the line. Lee Beebe Jr. is absolutely electric out of the backfield. And, so is Hemby. But Beebe got to the second level just very easily in this game. It was every time they were running outside. Now, the inside running, that is the one thing that I think maybe is a concern for this team. And, between the center guard, running between the tackle and the guard, or straight up the middle between the center and guard is, Indiana's not getting like breakout runs in those situations. I don't know if that means that Kennesaw State had some good guys up front. That's just something to keep an eye on. Mendoza played a much better game. I mean, much crisper. His passes, the decision making, he was able to. It seems there were some times where he had some opportunities maybe to throw the ball down the field, and you can tell he just kind of like took the easy throw and got the completion and kept everything moving. And as time goes on, he's going to have to take more risk. But in some of these situations, like early on, like I was perfectly satisfied with like his performance, how he was able to get the ball into different guys' hands. And, the 3 and out to start the game, I got to say, I mean, that I think a lot of people just like let out get big gasp after that. It's like, please slow down, IU fans, slow down. Like it's not that big of a deal to have some little mechanical struggles a little bit against a team like Kennesaw State. You got Indiana State Friday at 6:30 on this next game. And let's talk about the play by Sharp, because that was just ridiculous. Like I have Tim Branto, I was listening to the the TV announcers during the game, but he said, he hadn't seen that since 1991. A guy just like taking the ball away from somebody like that. And that was just a spectacular play. You want to see this defense make like aggressive plays like that. Like, I mean, just rip the ball right out of the guy's hands. That's what you want to see out of your defense. And Hillbilly Monkey, we got a clip of the coach, what he had to say after the game. We will roll that clip of Signetti. Let's roll it.
To make it was far from perfect. We'll see areas there that we're not pleased with tomorrow when we watch the tape. But we took a step forward, the step we needed to take. Probably most pleased with the way we dominated the second half. We got off to a fast start in the game and sort of bumbled around in the second quarter a little bit. And so it was a 15-point game at halftime, but we outscored them in the second half 31-3, and I think we scored 31 straight at the end. And it was good to empty the bench and see our twos make some plays, particularly in the pass game, like Charlie Becker and some other guys, Alberto. Good day. In terms of making the progress. Also, when we built the big lead, I liked the way our guys kept playing one play at a time like it was nothing. I didn't see guys laughing on the sideline, kind of a relief syndrome. That's what we ask them to do, time to be satisfied in the locker room. So I was a little bit of a tyrant on the sideline in the fourth quarter, but my job is to make the team the best it can be. So that's the way it is.
But yeah, there is the coach. I did get this vintage hat there that I absolutely love. I used to have a shirt that had this like emblem on it when I was in like third grade, but got an old school rope hat there. But Signetti, he seems to we have to understand that, there's no preseason games in college. Like the team did take a big step forward, I think, in showing a little bit more of what the offense can do. And you just got like one more warm up in this game against Indiana State. And then really it's off to the races. The Illinois game is going to be huge. I talked to so many different people at the game, and you can tell that a lot of people are just waiting to see if Indiana comes out, they beat Illinois in that game, the rest of the games are going to be electric. That game's going to be electric. But yeah, that is just like such a big prove it game, prove it time for this team, because you're going to be playing a Big Ten team, one that's ranked high, but it's not Oregon or Ohio State or Penn State, because I don't think we have, like, to beat those teams. Like, you really got to be realistic. For us to beat those teams are paying $40 million for their roster. Even Nick Saban is complaining about this. I mean, this is the reason why Alabama sucks now. Like, we paid, I believe it's $25 million we paid for this football roster. Well, some of those schools, I think they're paying $40 million. Correct me in the comments down below, because these numbers, I see them all over the place. But like what Ohio State and Oregon, and that's what OSU, they were complaining about that after the game, that, Oregon spent so much money on their team. If you watch that game, it was like 63-3, but you're like, Well, we're not in the caliber of those teams yet. We would have to play a perfect, like, fundamental game against those teams, have some good breaks go our way, and then, play like a clean game on top of it. I'm not saying it's impossible that we couldn't beat, Oregon or Penn State. We could, but let's just be realistic. This Illinois game is going to be a big prove it time, and boy, I just cannot wait for it. That game is going to be so hyped up. Hopefully it's on game day. And I'm not trying to skip over the Indiana State game, but, that's going to be this Friday. Indiana will have an extra day to prepare for that game, and we'll talk about it more in the lead up to that. But, it's getting exciting now because you got these first 2 games out of the way, and you got just this little bit of time here between now and playing that big game against Illinois. So, you got about 13 days here where you really want to make sure, and Signetti said it in that clip, like, you got to be coaching this team every day. I've heard him say that before. I mean, some of these guys know what to do. There are a lot of new players on this team. That's the thing. Like, he had a lot more JMU players on the team from last year that knew exactly what he wanted and exactly what he wanted them to do. And now he's got more loose ends on this team, and he's really got to have his assistant coaches and him, he's said it before, to coach these guys up so that they know what to do. Because if you don't know what to do, you don't know what to do. That's what he said. So there's a lot of excitement around the program right now. There's a lot of tepid, kind of like fandom from people. But the student section was absolutely great. I mean, the people that were at the game, the crowd was electric. I don't know what else you could want for Indiana playing Kennesaw State, at a noon kickoff. It was just about what I expected. And the atmosphere was better than, it would have been 10 years ago. And, I'm going to tell you, like, I've always rooted for Indiana football. I always watch all the games. I mean, it's appointment viewing for me. I always make sure I'm normally watching the Indiana game on Saturday, even if whatever's going on. But I'm not going to say, like, I'm not like, they look terrible in the first quarter and I've turned games off at halftime. I'm like, or I flipped over to another game because it's like, there's a bunch of college games on. I'm not going to watch Indiana just get stomped in the third and fourth quarter by somebody when there's something better on. I mean, that's just practically where I am with it. Tell me where you are with it. But I think this is going to be a great year for Indiana. I think no matter what, like, we're going to win 9 games. I think even if we lose the Illinois game, this is a close game. I think even if we really play Illinois tight and it's a real gritty game down to the finish, that will prove a lot to the media and stuff. Maybe it won't prove it to the people at ESPN because they're so biased against the Big Ten for the SEC. But Hillbilly Monkey, what did you think? From the inside of the truck out there, what did you think about what's going on with the team?
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey land that's sold at Home Goods. It's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Well, I mean, I think we just got to believe in Curt Signetti because, throughout all of this time, we have, I think, doubted this guy from the beginning. I think I even doubted him from the beginning, like talking all this smack, all saying all these things. But he has proven himself to be a competent leader, and he has been able to, take this team from absolutely dog water, to the college football playoff, and then get people out there this year, and people are fired up about the team and getting the athletic program to put more money into the football program. Curt Signetti deserves a lot of credit for what he's done in Indiana so far.
Exactly. Oh man, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's like, Signetti, he's turned around in a year and a half, not even a year and a half, like a year. I mean, he's turned something that, like, not a lot of people really cared about, Indiana football, into something that people do care about. One thing that people come from all over. I live in Fort Wayne, so it's a 3-hour drive down there. It's a hike. I mean, it's hard to drive 3 hours, which is 6 hours if you're doing it all in one day. I stayed in a hotel, but it's like, it's a hike to go, from here or the region and South Bend. And, Bloomington, they finished that part of 69 going down there, but it's like, it's a destination place. I mean, it's a place where you have to, it can be like a real journey to get there. I mean, from Fort Wayne, it's down all the way around Indianapolis and down there. But, the more people get bought in and they put a good product out there and, they throttle teams like Kennesaw State and then show up and play against Illinois, the more people that will actually believe that, Curt Signetti he's like a catalyst in making these things believe. They were talking about this on Crimson Cast because, Assembly Hall was built and they did not sell it out right away. It took, bringing in Bob Knight and that. I mean, I know Memorial Stadium's been there for just as long, just about, but it's like to actually have the turnaround. I mean, it wasn't till, I believe, 74, 75 when the basketball team was getting back to where people were really, hyped up about that again because it had some down years. I mean, and not as many down years as the football team had by far. So, I mean, just think about that for a second when you're, just think about Indiana football and all that type of thing. It's coming along. It's a day-by-day process. You got to process it day by day. And, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.